Hey guys, Makuto here, everyone's favorite race player. So today, I'm going to do another deck profile on my Idolmaster deck. Built this deck maybe 2 years ago, over a bunch of cards that I've found. I know I posted about it earlier, but I've actually edited the deck a little bit since then. And really all I did last time was just take a picture and then write down all the cards. So this time I'm going to do like I did with the last deck. I'm going to kind of go over what the cards do. This deck is not like the Kantai deck where the Kantai deck I kind of built a certain way. Someone had all the cards I needed from the first set and I just kind of like went over the cards and picked exactly what I needed to make the deck work. This one I just had a bunch of cards laying around, so I kind of built the deck around what I had. And it's fairly cheap deck, I'd say. I guess you can call it another budget deck. Yeah, I don't think there's any really strong or very really expensive cards in the deck. It's not, of course, it's not yellow. And they're running the Twins, which is a very popular Idolmaster deck. So it's just like Eri and Hibiki, stuff like that. Smaller characters. I made it mostly just for fun. I do like some of the gimmicks that it does, but for the most part, it's just for fun. It doesn't really do anything spectacular, or it doesn't really win any tournaments. But if you're casually playing with your friends and stuff, it's a pretty good deck. Just kind of like throw it out there, and some of the things kind of throw people off. So you can kind of get away with, sometimes you can win or two games just because of the gimmicks just don't make any sense. So I guess I'll go over all the cards. So while I'm talking about how many of each are in the deck, I'll go over some of the combos too. And then at the end, I'll talk a lot about how to play the deck. So first, I'll start with the grade zeros, obviously. Excuse me. So I play 4 of the Eddie, Quiet, and Crudulus. I think that's how you pronounce it. Crudulus. This is a 3/5 level 0 with, all these cards that have a little bit more than 3 have kind of like a downside to it, I guess you can say. They have a cost you have to pay. Even though, now this one, the cost is actually pretty high, even though it's the main grade 0. Usually something that is this high cost, you would only run like 2 of them or something. But I like the effects that this card gets. So this card by itself, it's a 0/0, 3/5, and anytime before your attack step, if this card's on the field, you look at the top card. If it is a climax, then you have to take another card off the field and put it in your waiting room. So it happens anytime this card's on the field. So, which is pretty much why the cost is so high, because some cards like this, it's on play check, stuff like that. This one is if the card's on the field during your attack step, or before your attack, after your climax, you check the top card. If it's a climax card, then you have to kill something. So it's a good card to play first turn. If you don't have any backups or anything, just because if you do get a climax and there's nothing to kill, because it only kills other cards, it can't kill itself. It does say choose another, so but I do like this card. So then the next card I'm running is 4 of the Ryu Idol's Cousin. It's just a regular, just a vanilla, 3K vanilla. We're mostly running it because I couldn't find anything else to put that I had that was green. And because there's a lot of cards in here in this deck that kind of do weird things. So I did want to kind of have like a beater that was just, that I can just throw out. If I had assist characters in the back row, it can be a 3/5 or 4. But mainly I just wanted a card that I can put out there. I don't usually like to run vanillas in decks that I make. But I think because of how I built this deck, that it works just fine. Alright. And then the next card I'm running is Hibiki Ganaha. She is a 2/5 level 0. And then her ability is, if I have 2 or more music characters on the field, she gets plus 1,000. So another beater. When I could probably have 4 of these and 2 of these, but then I don't have that many of these, so... but then again, I do have to have at least 2 music characters. I do like playing it. I do like the card. It's got like a giraffe on it. So, pretty good card. You really only use it when you're level 0. Doesn't really do much afterwards. Now, the next card I'm running 2 of. This is Takane in Casual Clothing. Excuse me. I can't talk today. So this card it's pretty good. The first skill on it is one of my favorite skills. It's if it's in the back row and one of your music characters is sent to the waiting room, you can actually send this to the waiting room and bring that card back to where it was as tapped. So I'm only running 2 just because I have enough level 0 assists. But this is actually better late game. Just because, or the first skill is good late game, because you can use it to save your level 2s and 3s, which this deck actually does not have a lot of. It's not like most decks that are playing at least 8 grade 3s or something like that. It's not that many grade 3s, so I put these in here so I can save those kinds of cards. Now the second ability is pretty good for early game. It is a pay to tap this, draw a card. So it's a little bit cheaper than the assist character that I'm running in the Kantai deck, which is pay to tap to draw a card. This is pay to tap just this. So if I have this card with the other assist card, then I can use it to draw cards, stuff like that. It's pretty good early game. The only thing is this deck has some pretty high costs in level 1 game, so you don't really get a lot of chances to use this ability. The second ability, rather. But the first ability I use a lot late game. Okay. And last for my grade 0s is I'm running 4 of the Producer Ozakis. This is a great card. I really like this card. It actually works with the Eri Quiet Intrigulis, which is why I left it out here. But this one, its main ability is just a +5 upfront assist. That you would get with most level 0 assists. But then it has a second ability that if your battle opponent of the Arity gets reversed, then you can draw a card, and if you do, discard. So great. That's a great ability just to kind of cycle your hand. And if you've done her ability once or twice, then if you drew a card you didn't want, then you can use her ability to kind of cycle it through your deck there, so get back to your waiting room, stuff like that. So it's a great combo. I like using it, even though the cost for this card is so high because you might have to sack something, but you really get a good kind of turnaround because of her ability with that one. I think they work well together, and that's why I'm running 4 of her, is to make sure I get this combo off at early game. Because she does have to reverse her opponent, and her being 3/5, potentially 4K when one of these are out, that's not enough to really do anything late game, unless your opponent ends up having to run 0s late, or low level 1, if they push up like an assist or something, then you can throw that up maybe, but really you want to get it off early game, because that's basically the only time you're ever going to use it. But it's good draw discard. It's good cycling. So definitely a combo that I like in the deck. So now I'm going to go ahead and talk about my grade 1s. Okay, first I have 2 of the Takane Shijo. This is an interesting card that I added later, mainly because of the level 1. What do you call it? Event backup I'm running. That I only had 1 of before, but that I went and got 2, and now I feel like I need another one. Now I want to play 4 of it. But this one, the card's ability, it has 2 abilities. So the first one is, that goes with the event backup, is if you have sidetracked in memory, then she gets +2K. So she's a 104K, but if you have sidetracked in the memory, which is a event backup, then or a counter, event counter, then she comes down as a 6K for no cost, which is pretty good. You do have to use the backup at least once, otherwise she's pretty useless. But I usually try to use the event at least one time, and since it's the event, I can use it on my turn, just so I can make sure that she's at 6K, or I can use it during my opponent's turn. So then she'll boost 6K, and then if I need to, I can put the extra attack power on her, so she's 7/5, which is pretty good. Now her second ability, which I don't actually use, is that it's a climax change. So you just pay 3, and you put her in the waiting room, and then you swap her with the Takane Princess. I don't actually know what that card looks like. I don't think I have it. But I had already pretty much built the deck how I wanted it to. I only put her in because she worked well with Sidetracked, and it was like a free 6K, I felt like, just to put her in. So that's why I'm also only running 2. Now, another one of the big combos of the deck is Ritsuko Panicking. I don't actually know why I'm only running 3 of these. I can't remember why. Probably because I put 2 of these in. But she has an interesting ability. Well, first of all, she's only a 5K. But her ability is when Lots and Lots is in the climax zone, when she attacks, I can pay 2, and then I draw 2 cards, and then my opponent draws 1 card. Now, when I played this, I was like, well, my opponent's drawing a card, like, that's not good. But it always seems whenever I use this ability, my opponent draws climaxes. Which is probably its main focus, is to get climaxes in our hand, which is great, because if they draw a climax, then that's one less climax that I have to worry about. Because I was actually playing this deck the other day, and it seemed like I had 2s on the field, and both times I attacked with it, they drew a climax, so my damage was able to go through. And the Lots and Lots is a one stock from top of your deck, stock soul, or +1 soul, so they attacks with at least 2 soul already, which is good. But this is a pretty good card, I like it. I didn't have it in the original layout of the deck, but then I added her in later. I thought it was kind of fun ability to kind of try out. Now this card is the main card in the deck. I'm running 4 of them. It's the Eri Mizutani. Now this card is a card I did play, or I did have in the original deck profile, if you look back 2 years ago. It's a great card. She is a 1-cost 5/5, which by itself is not that great. She does have a trigger, which is pretty good. But her ability is, she is a change, when you play Climax. So when you play Precog, you put her into Clock, and then you get to take out Eri Inherited Dream from your library. So Eri Inherited Dream comes out of your library and it goes on the field, which is pretty interesting. So she doesn't come out of waiting room, so it's not a card that you have to either have had in your hand or have played it earlier, or not played it, but put it in Clock earlier so you can make sure it's in your waiting room. It actually comes out of your library. Now, while that could seem good at first, but I have found that even though I'm playing 4 of them, sometimes I go through them all even before I get to grade 1, it seems. That's just how my decks play. Sometimes they don't work how they should, or they don't work in my favor. But I have gotten the ability off enough that I think it's good enough to be the main part of the deck. Mainly because it gets my grade 2 out, which is pretty strong. It comes out as an AK, and it gets +5 on my opponent's turn for every music character. So as long as I have a full field, she's pretty strong. And then with my backups and assists, then she stays pretty strong. But one of the most important cards of the deck. Okay, now I'm running 3 of the. Excuse me. This is the Sidetrack card. So this is a counter event. so I can play it on my turn or my opponent's turn. It costs 1, and the first ability is that it's a clock change kind of thing, where I can take a card out of my clock, put it in my hand, and then put a card from my hand into clock. So that alone is a pretty good ability, just so I can kind of get cards out that I need. And then the second ability is that I can give a character plus 15. So when I'm using it as a counter, I can boost someone. If I'm using it as an event, I can still boost someone and get a card that I need. The only thing is it goes to memory after use, which is one of the main reasons why I want to get another one. I don't know why I didn't get 3 when I was getting more cards, but then when I got my stack, I only had 2 more. So, but I think I do want to play 4 of these. So when I can, I'll try to get another one. But this is the card that works with Takane Shijo to get for a plus 2k. So this is a good combo by itself, but this card is really good. I really like using it, and it combos with the grade 3. Another main reason. Okay, and the last of my grade 1s is I'm running 3 of Katori Otonashi. She is just an assist. She's a cost 2, but she is 1,000 up front. So once I put her out, she pretty much stays out the whole game. I don't have any grade 2 assists or anything like that. But Kevin, if you have 2 of these out, then it's 1,000 on the sides and 2,000 in the middle, which is a pretty good assist at grade 1. The only problem is, unless you've been getting a lot of grade 0s, then you don't have really the stock. I find usually I play one and then I might play the other one later. You don't really get to play them right away, but I think it's a great assist. I do like it. So now I'll go to my grade 2s. So now this is where you'll see where I'm actually running a lot of cards that I probably shouldn't. I'm just running them for fun. But then, so my grade 2s and grade 3s are very slim. So I have to have a lot of cards that'll keep them on the field, because once my opponent kills them, then it's hard to get them back. So first I'm playing 4 of the change, the target, which is Eri Inherited Dream. She's an AK, costs 1, so she only has 1 soul, which is one of the downsides to her. However, the precog climax is a plus 2 soul. So if you do the combo when she comes out, she's attacking with 3 soul, which at level 1 is pretty good. But when you get to grade 2, you kind of want to start doing more damage. But she has, her ability is, during your opponent's turn, she gets plus 500 for each other music character you have. So if you're running the assist characters and a full field, then she's like, in the middle, she's like plus 2k from the assist, and then another 2k from your characters. So she can get pretty strong. I mean, it's only 12. 12 isn't super high, but when you're level 2, 12 is good. And 12 is still pretty good at 3 sometimes. There are some very strong grade 3s nowadays. But, you can try to throw it back up or something like that. Try to save her, something like that. Try to keep her on the field. Now, this is a card that I'm playing purely for funds. I don't think it's that great of a card. I do like it. It has saved me sometimes, but I think sometimes if your opponent is doing what they should be doing, then it doesn't really help as much. This one is Daily Spectacle. The ability is stock change, I'd call it. So when you play this, cost 1, your opponent takes all the cards from their stock, puts it in the waiting room, and then replaces that number of stock from cards on the top of their deck. So it's good, like, if you know how many cards are in their climax, or in their stock, how many cards are in their waiting room, and how many cards they have left in the deck. And if you can kind of figure maybe they have like 1 or 2 left in their deck, then you can kind of try to get those out of there. And then even if they've been keeping their stock clean, then this is a way to kind of put some blind stock in there. Like, no one knows what these cards are. No one knows. They could be grade 3s that they need. They can be anything. They can be more climaxes. stuff like that. So it's a good card. I do like playing it. I just don't know how good it is, really. Mainly, especially because since it is an event at grade 2, sometimes I throw it away for in my clock, during my clock step, and then I don't get another one, which is pretty much why I'm running 3, just so I can at least try to get it off once per turn. And for enough, I usually do get it off once per turn, so. But then, at the end of the match, we're like, did that even help or anything? So we always kind of like to look just to see what happened. But so now, then just another card that I like for no reason. This is Voice Lesson. This is a pretty good event counter. Excuse me. It costs nothing, and then it makes all your music characters one cost encore. And if I remember correctly, I think it goes into stock. I don't think so. No, that's not this card. I know there's another card that once you use it, it goes to stock, but I don't think this is the one. So you use its free backup or free counter, which is great, and then it makes all your music characters one cost encore. So if you've got Aerie on the field, then she costs nothing to save if she dies. But I mean, you don't get any power, so you can't kill anything yourself. But at least your guys are easier to bring back. You don't have to pay 3, or you don't have to sack what's her face, Takane in casual clothing. So it's pretty good. I like it. I don't get to use it that much. Again, because I only running 2, really only running it for funds. But when I do get to use it, it's kind of fun. It just kind of throws their game off. They're like, well, I was supposed to kill your guys, but it's like, no, now they're back. So, yeah, the last card I'm playing, my grade 3, again, like I said, not very many grade 2s or 3s, because I'm only running 2 grade 3s. This is Azusa Run Bride. So, I don't know why I'm running this card, actually. Mainly because I didn't have a lot of grade 3s. Barely any, actually. I think I had like 1 green, 1 blue, like 2 reds or something. And I wanted to make a green-blue deck. So I had to buy another one. But it's a rare card, so it was like $2 or something like that. Fairly cheap. Okay, so now this card doesn't have any heal on or anything. It just has 2 abilities. So the first ability is when it gets front attacked, I can look at the top card and either leave it on the top or put it into waiting room. So that's pretty good. If I look at the top card and I don't like what it is, then I can just kind of discard it. Mainly just to try to get closer and closer to the climax. Waste a card to get closer to a climax. That's basically what you're doing there. And then second ability is you pay 1 and you take Sidetracked, this card here, from your memory and put it into waiting room. And when you do that, you can take a grade 2 or lower card from your clock and put it on the field. So not bad, except now you take a card from your library and put it in your clock. So it's not. I kind of wish it was like kind of a different way to heal, where you sack the memory to get a grade 2 out of your clock and put it into field, and that's it. But they make you replace the card, so you're not actually getting any kind of. It's not helping you much. It does get an extra card on the field, but it's not like a heal, like a heal, so to speak. Which would be great, because then it would stop some of those cards that are clocked to waiting room heals, since it'd be clocked to field. So you can still do that without having to pay the extra cost or anything. But still, it's fun. Really, once I get my Aerie out, my grade 2 over here, that's pretty much it. Once I get her out, then I just keep 3 out, and I just keep them out all the time. I don't get to play her that much, but it's fun. If I can get the combos out, then I can get an Aerie out, or something else, or the other girl that plus 6k, or the 6,000, Takane Shoujo, stuff like that. So I'll just go over my climaxes real quick. Obviously, I'm running 4 of Lots and Lots, which is a top of the library to stock, +1 stock to all characters, and then running 4 of precog, which is +2 soul. And they do have the combos, of course. She works with her, and that one works with her. Excuse me. So, really there's not really much in this deck. It's not like the Kantai deck where you're constantly drawing and doing all kinds of crazy stuff. This deck is mostly just, you can draw a little bit early at the beginning of the game. There are a few changes in the middle. And then, really, once you get to grade 2, just keep the grade 2 cards on the field as long as possible. Whether it's casual clothing, this girl, or you're using the backup, voice lesson, stuff like that. Just use these guys to keep your grade 2s on the field. Get some grade 3s out if you can. Use, I always forget the name of this card, Sidetrack. Use Sidetracked to either get some extra boosts or to get cards either from your clock onto the field or from your clock into your hand. Just so you can kind of keep playing stuff. Mainly because a lot of the cards are underpowered unless you do the changes. Especially Takane Shoujo. Or not, yeah, Takane Shoujo, yeah, you need that, but Ritsuko Panicking is only a 5k. So if you don't boost her up with assists or anything like that, then she can kind of go away pretty fast. But if you can at least get that combo off once or twice, her climax combo, then you're good. Because you get 2 extra cards in your hand. Your opponent gets a card, but they could draw a climax or something. Mainly, I think the deck is fun. I like playing it. It's not a great deck, but sometimes I win. But I've never actually used it in tournaments. I don't think it's a tournament deck. But I don't know. What do you think? Leave comments, stuff like that. Let me know. Thanks a lot, guys.